Hi, my name is Samantha Hamilton. I am the Live Well Springfield Program Manager and Program Coordinator for the Springfield Climate Justice Initiative. Live Well Springfield is a coalition that consists of 25 or more community partners that work to address policy, systems, and environmental change issues for Springfield residents. And we do that in hopes that we can have a community that is healthier, that is vibrant, and that is livable for all. We're all about addressing the social determinant needs of families and individuals and doing it in a systematic way. We do advocacy around food justice work, and we do implementation projects like a Go Fresh Mobile Market to help communities have healthy and fresh produce. The biggest part of Live Well Springfield and our Springfield Climate Justice Initiative is our collaborative power. Together, we work with key partners, great partners that understand the policies that we're advocating for, that have been working in the community for a long time to address these issues. But collectively, when we come together, we have the power to make change. "2020 was a year of great learning for our organization. One of the many things we had to figure out to do in March of 2020 was to pivot to a virtual community. And I credit the fact that we built strong, sustainable relationships with our community residents and community partners early on, that pivot or that transition to virtual wasn't as hard as we anticipated. We were able to hold on to all our resident advocates that were a part of the project and our key community partners that was helping us in the planning phase of the grant. One of our successes throughout the year, despite the adversity of the pandemic, was the ability to engage community virtually. Knowing that our work was going to be facilitated in person with our focus groups and our community conversation workshops, we had to then redesign a way to get community input that we didn't think of. So developing a virtual platform, developing virtual spaces where we could have these conversations was something we did to hold on to the work and hold on to our efforts towards getting to the goal of narrowing down to the policy priorities that we wanted for our community. One of the lessons learned that we took back from our meetings with Kresge was offering a meal voucher. It's not easy at times to ask folks to come on to a virtual conversation later in their day. And we appreciated the opportunity that Kresge accommodated those needs for us as community partners. And we recognized that was something that we should also do when we're facilitating our meetings with community residents. And that gesture is also a sign of respect, that you appreciate folks' time, but we also appreciate what they might be giving up in participating in a virtual workshop during their traditional dinner time. Another one of the successes was actually getting to a place of narrowing, despite the adversity of our pandemic, despite the adversity of the mental health awareness of our community. We know that we were going through this crisis, we were going through this pandemic, but collectively, we also knew that this work was important. I give credit to the community residents who kind of let us know that we know we're in the midst of a life-changing pandemic. We know we're in the midst of a lot of social injustice and unrest, but they said to us, this is still important to us. And this is also still a priority. And, with great community partners that could recognize that was important to know that you shouldn't take that for granted. And also to recognize that their commitment levels were very clear and strong despite all of the social issues that were happening in our community. We've spent a whole year with our coalition, and that's commendable to this whole 360 turnaround of being together, initially in collective space and then having to go virtually. So I think our biggest inspiration is, again, the residents that show up to give thoughtful input, that prioritize this work despite their lived circumstances at this time. What inspires us is that the policies that we are looking to work on resonates with the community. If our policies didn't have the reflective community voice, we would know that we're not going the right direction. And the more we gain community input, the more we are kind of affirming ourselves that we are going in the right direction. And these policies are going to address systemic issues around racism and oppression. It's going to help the community overall and help the masses. And they're going to also address greenhouse gas emissions in our community. Springfield is considered the asthma capital of the US, meaning that we have high rates of asthma. And we don't want to continue to perpetuate this problem. So these policies are strategic to help us, no longer be this number one rating that has a negative impact on people. We are inspired. I think we're inspired by these policies that we are deciding on. That these policies are exciting. We're doing a race and health equity impact assessment, and we're looking at community choice aggregation. Both are hot topics due to the climate of where we are in our society when it comes to racial justice, criminal justice reform, and both are relevant to have impacts of systemic change. These things will trickle down to this systemic change that will help Black and Brown folks. It will help the most impacted communities by climate-related events. We experienced a tornado, and in experience a whole tornado in a community that should not have experienced a tornado, we know there's uncertainties that can happen of where we are in Massachusetts. And for that, we need to have certain systems in place that protects the communities that's most impacted. So we're excited and charged up that these policies are the right policies, and these policies are going to impact the broader community, but they also reflect the voice of the community, which tells us we're going in the right direction.